Excited, finally game week, and I think everybody in our buildings is excited and ready to go. Players were great today, just kind of a normal Monday for us, and got a little bit of workout on the field, and now we're into full game plan mode, obviously. With that, I'll open it up for questions. Yep.
Coach, can you walk us through the process of selecting Brandon Wimbush for your starter?
Yeah, dating all the way back to Mackenzie's injury and all the quarterbacks that were coming back, we said it was going to be an open competition. I believe firmly in letting those guys go through the process. I think it's important that they earn the job in front of their peers, and their peers recognize that they've earned the job. I thought all the guys played extremely well throughout training camp, and sometimes that's just coach speak, but I really truly believe that. But at the end of the day, I felt like Brandon played really consistent, very calm and confident in what he's doing. I think he's got great command of what we're doing. I think the players around him believe in him, and so that's why he got the nod.
Coach, Sam Jackson's getting started left tackle. How comfortable is he at that position, and what did you see from him that allowed you to make the decision that he is able to handle that position?
Yeah, you'll see both of those guys at left tackle. I think we got a great core nucleus of guys on the offensive line. I think we have the ability to move people into different positions. That flexibility is important typically as you go through the season, because inevitably there's going to be some guys that get nicked up. He's since he came back off of his knee injury a year ago, he's changed his body. He's been great in his technique. But he's had the ability to play out on the edge at tackle, younger when he first started. Last year we played him primarily at the guard position. Feel confident in him being able to bounce back and forth in both of those positions. Athletic, the ability to pull, the ability to match up in some of your protection schemes where he's manned up on probably an elite pass rusher there on the left side. So feel good about what he's done.
Coach, the 2-deep depth chart came out this morning. Multiple freshmen in that two positions, some positions. How has this class kind of impressed you in fall camp and some of the early enrollees since arriving to campus?
Yeah, in talking to our football team, as we've gone through the process of training camp, inevitably letting out the 2-deep. Where you're at the beginning of the season has no bearing on where you're at the end of the season. The challenge is to continue to push, get better, and earn yourself the opportunity, improve that you're going to go play at a championship level. We do have a bunch of young freshmen that have earned the right to be in that 2-deep. They're going to get an opportunity to play some football here as we kick off on Thursday night. Guys that we obviously feel confident in as a staff. I think the players around them feel really confident in them based on how they've performed. And we try to put them in game situations, not just in our scrimmages, but the way we practice during team periods during the course of training camp. We try to simulate that. So I think those guys will be ready to roll.
Coach, you said in your release the other day about quarterbacks that Dylan Gabriel would also play.
Yep.
Was that a symptom of just being a close competition, or was it always a plan for whoever the top two were going to be, that the top two were always going to play?
I think it's indicative of the way that Dylan played during the course of training camp. When we talked about it being a competition and it going deep into training camp, it was that way because of how they played. And Dylan's earned the right to have an opportunity to go out there and play some football. I think as a young player, that exposure will be really beneficial to him as well.
Josh, along those lines, what was your discussions with Quad and Dylan and when you broke the news to them, and what do you want to see out of those guys as you guys continue to move forward?
Really, we met as a collective unit, as an offensive or as a quarterback group when we brought those three guys in along with Coach Levy. Told them that this is the direction of where we're heading. Talked to them about the strength of a position. The quarterback room is no different, even though there's typically only one guy playing. The strength of position can never be one guy. I think for our fan base, our football team, all you got to do is look back to the end of last year and understand that that's the case. I mentioned it earlier, just the guys in that room that aren't starting. The challenge is to continue to invest even more and prepare even harder when your opportunity comes to be in a position to take care of it. But it's not just the quarterback room, it's all 125 guys inside of our team room. That is the challenge, and if you're not growing every single day, you're not going to put yourself in a position that when your opportunity does come, you're going to take advantage of it, or you're putting yourself in a position where you're never going to earn an opportunity to get out there and play.
Coach, for Dylan Gabriel to see immediate action as a true freshman, what did he do well? What impressed you the most just seeing him from spring to now?
Since he's been here, he's smart, confident, accurate with the football, good decision maker, all the things that you want out of your quarterback.
Coach, for Brandon, what are some of your expectations for him come Thursday on an individual basis and maybe from a team management?
I expect him to play championship caliber football. He's got great command of what we're doing. Want to continue to put him in the right position, but to operate extremely efficiently at the quarterback position with the tempo that we play at, which is probably a little bit higher tempo than he was accustomed to as far as his experience at Notre Dame. Expect him to take care of the football, just be a distributor of the football, get the ball in our guys' hands that have an opportunity to go make plays. He's our starter because we certainly believe that he's going to do those things.
Coach, Dylan Barnes gets the kicking job. Obviously, he has experience being here for a couple of years, but what did he do in fall camp?
I thought he was really consistent throughout training camp. Feel really good about all of our specialists and where we landed. More guys being in that position as far as have an opportunity to get out there on the field and play. But I thought Dylan's been really consistent. Thought he continued to grow and mature as we went through the summer. Was really consistent in training camp, and looking forward to him having a huge year for us.
Josh, defensive line was obviously a concern coming out of spring. What have you seen from these guys now, and what do you look forward to that group as you guys?
Yeah, I thought that group, as much as any, transformed themselves throughout the summer, changing their bodies, but their work ethic, buy-in, attention to detail. When we came back in training camp, they were a much different group than where they were when they finished spring ball after 15 days. The maturity level of that position is critical to us growing and be the type of defense that we want to be. I think we're extremely athletic. I think we're probably a little bit deeper at the beginning of the season than we were a year ago on the defensive line. Maybe some guys that haven't played as much football as we had a year ago with some of the experience coming back. I do believe, though, if those guys invest every single day, take coaching, take it to heart, implement it into their game, that they have a chance to be a dynamic unit by the end of the season.
Coach, obviously there was a lot of attention this camp about quarterback and who was going to start. Can you share, personally what it was like for you coming into Oklahoma from junior college? Was it a situation where you were competing with guys? Did you find out in camp that you were starting, or can you just kind of tell us a little bit about that?
My experience was a little bit different. They've been running triple option there. There were a couple quarterbacks that could transition into drop back passers. By the end of spring ball, it was kind of my job, and some of that was maybe my play, but some of it was just who else was in the room at that time and the system being a little bit different. I think anytime you go through a quarterback battle, it's hard, it's intense. You live and die with every throw, but at the end of the day, that's kind of how you got to play too. You're a decision maker. You have the ball in your hands every single play. I think that competition, that experience has a chance to have that entire room grow throughout of it and understand the urgency that you have to prepare and play with, which is going to be important through the schedule that we face this year.
Josh, any update on Darryl Mack on his status?
Yeah, he's doing better, being able to get a little bit further into his rehab, but he's not in a position that he'll be practicing here this week.
Coach, as far as you mentioned a lot of adjustments and a lot of growth coming quickly during camp for the defensive line, how would you say the secondary and linebackers, what have they done to support that group?
Well, I think the experience that we have in the secondary, obviously losing a great safety in KG from a year ago, but the experience that we have on the back end, is important. The ability to play man-to-man coverage to get up and press and challenge things. We have some special players that have had a great training camp back there. More depth at the linebacker position than we had a year ago. And guys that can play multiple spots, and I think that's critical. And then the ability for our young linebacking core that came here in January, how much they've grown. They've changed dramatically physically, as you guys have seen, just getting to know them from January to where they are now. But their understanding of what we're doing, I think they're going to continue to grow and escalate their play as we go through the season. Excited about what they're bringing to us defensively.
Coach Cam Good and Tony Gray received immediate eligibility. How important is that, and what have you seen out of those guys in fall camp?
Important to them because they've invested so much. They really have. They're continuing to grow as people, growing in our program, just the way we approach everything every day. Important to us as a football program because they're got a chance to be dynamic playmakers. And obviously, they're both going to play a lot of football for us. So that was a huge plus for us.
Deidron Bacote Sweat was listed on the depth chart, but do you guys still expect him to be a sub-package pass rusher for you guys?
A guy has a chance to be, absolutely. A guy that, came off a horrific injury that is physically in a much better place than he was a year ago.
Coach, with that Thursday game this week, how does that change your preparation on it being a short week, or is it a short week because you guys
It really
haven't
isn't. For the people that have been around here, we kind of just bump everything up so that we go through a normal game week. Yesterday was a Sunday for our program. Coaches were in the office for a little bit. We'd done most of our game prep the week before and installed all of it. Players were off. Today was a Monday. Tomorrow will be a heavy work day, Tuesday practice, where we get out there and bang a little bit.
And then the transition from sort of the off-season mentality to fall camp to now game week. Yeah, what's that transition like for your guys?
I think they're really excited. They're ready to get out of summer. By the time you finish up workouts at the end of July, they're ready to put some pads on and go compete and play. You get the back quarter of training camp, they're tired of going against the same guy. There's a lot of one-on-one battles that are with a guy that you're either locker room next to or right across from, and so it's time to go play a different opponent, find out where we're at, make a bunch of plays, make some mistakes too, and you got to grow through them. But excited, what our team has put into it, the energy, the effort, the focus every single day. Proud of where we're at as far as trust, communication, work habits inside of our program. All of that is giving us a chance to go out and play really well. We got to go earn it, got to go prepare the right way this week to go play our best football on Thursday night.
Anything else, Coach? One more, Brandon?
You got a game on Thursday. What do you expect from Florida A&M?
They got some experience on the offense side of the ball. Got some dynamic playmakers. Veteran quarterback, defensively, multiple in some of their fronts, and at the end of the day, I think early in the season, because you don't know exactly what they're going to do schematically, they haven't put anything on tape. It can be extremely different from where they were a year ago. I think it's really about you and your preparation, making sure that your kids understand your schemes, have the ability to adjust quickly during the course of play to whatever that they're seeing.
Just coming into this season, obviously a lot of excitement. The school sold out season tickets. Can you just kind of talk about the buzz and excitement you're feeling from Night Nation heading into game one?
A year ago I had never played in the bounce house, right? And had heard a lot going into it. Remember getting ready to give the pregame speech before we walked out, and you hear the student body shaking the stands right up above you, man, the roof and the locker rooms, bouncing up and down. It's an electric atmosphere. I've said it before, there's bigger atmospheres, bigger stadiums. In college football, there's not a better atmosphere inside of the stadium than what's provided here. I think it speaks to what our players have built here. I think it speaks to the energy that surrounds our university, that surrounds our football program. It's probably the most unique thing in college sports, and we can't wait to get out there and play on Thursday night.